Hello you guys, this is the review for The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, and I really don't know where to begin because this game is literally huge. No, enormous. Well, actually there's no way to describe it, it's just the best way to show you, but even by showing it to you in a video, it's still not gonna be sufficient to actually capture the vast size of the world, the quests and everything that's in it. Well, for starters, you play as Geralt, who was also present in the previous games, and this guy, well, he's pretty kick-ass. From the beginning of the game you already notice that the main purpose or the main mission in this game revolves all around Ciri, the child that you raised together with Yennefer. Yennefer, who was previously a character that was never shown in any previous game of The Witcher, but was widely spoken about. Now you actually get to meet her and see her and do quests with her. Other characters that are back from the past are Triss Merigold, Dandelion, whoever you like before, they're back in the game. And believe me when I say that the way they develop these characters in this game is not seen before in any RPG. The way that they capture the emotion, the way that they tell the story around them, the side missions that evolve around them, they're huge, they're actually even better in my opinion than the main quest. So it's a bloody shame if you let those side quests go to waste. They're actually so well told and they add so many hours to the game that this game cannot be played with the side missions altogether in less than 200 hours. This game actually takes up over 200 hours when you want to see and do everything that you can. So for starters, complaining that this game isn't your money's worth is just a lie.
Bullshit.
This game gives so much content for so little money that EA, Activision and Ubisoft all together cannot put so many content in all their games put together. It's just insane, it blows your mind away, and at first this game actually seems a little bit scary because of that. The size of the world overwhelms you so much and there's so much content that's blown in your face that you need to sit back for a while and let it all sink in slowly. First of all, let's start off with the graphics, because that's what most people drew to this game. Now, the graphics in this game are just mind-boggling. I've never seen so beautiful graphics in any game that's an open-world RPG like this one. Skyrim, Dragon Age, whatever, Fallout, you name it. I've never seen graphics this great, even with mods on Skyrim. And you know which mods I'm talking about, not the nude mods of course, lol. Even then, Skyrim doesn't look as great as this does, on PC at least, because on the consoles they had to take it back a notch, even though the PC version doesn't have that great graphics, but it's still very noticeable for most of us. But besides that, not only the graphics were great, also the voice acting and the animations in the faces of most NPCs you talk to are just amazing. The time and detail that went into this work is just mind-boggling. Especially if you know how many hours, dozens of hours of dialogue are in this game, with so many options that it must have seemed an impossible task for the developers at first. And with all these facial animations and dialogues, it's hard not to become emotionally attached to some characters and actually feel with them. You actually feel the misery and the emotional and physical damage that is inflicted upon them.
She's badly been attacked. They took her to Vulmerius Hospital.
Gods. Priscilla. Is she gonna live?
Well, I'd say that's certain. Her condition's critical but stable. Beg your pardon, but you are a relative?
Relative? No, a friend. A very close friend.
Dandelion, correct?
Is someone looking into this?
This is Novigrad. Only the innocent burn here.
Geralt, I know I owe you 100 times over, but I need to ask you another favor. Find the bastard who did this. Find him and kill him.
And now, as you become more emotionally attached to those characters, it becomes even more harder to make some choices in this game, because everything you do in the dialogues revolves around choices, and these choices don't always show their repercussions or consequences at first. Most of them actually show it a lot later in the game, so either you choose carefully or just choose with your gut feeling. But do take on notice that all these choices you make will eventually decide the fate of many of the characters you've encountered throughout the game, and even the fate of entire communities. Like for example with the crones, to either fight against them or with them, and that will decide the fate of an entire village, or otherwise destroy an entire family of children. And you may think it's actually pretty easy to make these decisions because it's only a video game, but the way that this story is told and the way that they put the emotional baggage of most characters on your shoulders, it will make it so much harder, believe me. Actually, the kind of storytelling you can compare this game with is Game of Thrones. It's actually that emotional.
Especially not here. Not now.
Miss Marigold, we got a sail.
Please.
We had our chance. But let it go.
I love you.
Miss Marigold, we're casting off.
However, those choices can also result in pretty nasty stuff, like for example the part where you have to choose to either free a ghost by sacrificing her loved one, or let the loved one live and destroy the ghost itself.
If I'd known otherwise, I should never have left you. I'd do anything for you. I would. You know that well. Believe me, I beg you.
Prove it.
Okay, that's a wrap up. Now, as I said before, there is so much content in this game, so much to do. Mainly these things have to revolve around killing monsters in the world and protecting non-humans from the violence of humans. And that may sound repetitive, but actually they keep it quite fresh and interesting all the way to the end of the game. It's not repetitive at all. And I think that's mainly due to the combat system and the bestiary system, because every monster you kill is always different. You have to adapt to every monster has its weakness, and every monster has a different approach to it. You will never kill a monster the same way twice. Which brings me to a very important part of your inventory, the bestiary. Now this bestiary can save your lives plenty of times. It actually shows which bombs, which oils, which signs they are all vulnerable to, and even upcoming information about their attacks, their habitats, and even their behavior. For people who don't like to read a lot, this is not really a fun feature in the game, but it's actually a necessary feature to make you prepared for the fight in advance, because like I said before, every beast acts differently, every beast has different vulnerabilities. And some monster types, like vampires, often have the same kind of beasts in it, and if you think that these beasts all do the same thing, have the same vulnerabilities, and all go down the same way, then you're wrong.
It's wrong.
Even with raids it's the same thing. They're all different and all have different types of vulnerabilities. So preparation in this game wins you half the fight. Although a good preparation is not so necessary on lower difficulties. So I suggest that you actually put it on harder difficulties, because after a while, once you get a feeling for dodging and rolling and parrying, then fights actually become a lot easier. Now don't be afraid that it's all about monsters alone, because you do have your fair share of human opponents. And that's actually why you're carrying two swords, a silver sword for monsters, a steel sword for your human opponents. And believe it or not, this actually brings the necessary variation to the game in the overall length of the game. Your Witcher signs add even more to that variation and can be considered even more important than your swords. Each sign will have its own use in every different situation, so it's absolutely vital you pick the right one at the right time. Altogether, the combat isn't that bad at all. It's actually very innovative and faster than the previous games of The Witcher. although the learning curve is a little bit higher, and especially compared to other games who have kind of the same combat mechanics like Assassin's Creed. However, there's a huge difference between this game and Assassin's Creed's combat style. Mainly because in Assassin's Creed you can keep blocking and still kill everybody you want to without dying. This doesn't happen in this game. The enemies are a little bit smarter, the combat is a little bit faster, and you actively have to time your dodging. And to properly counterattack, you actually have to time the moment to block perfectly just before the enemy attacks. And all of this together makes the combat very immersive and interactive. Anyway, I was talking about preparation for combat earlier, and the way that you do this is either by customizing your armor or whatever, or just right before combat preparing yourself your oils, your potions or whatever, and apply them to your weapon. Now, the way that you do this is through either the alchemy or crafting tab. Crafting only happens in the neighborhood of armorsmiths or blacksmiths or whatever, but alchemy can be done on the spot. And the amount of recipes and combinations in this game are just huge, just like everything else in this game. Now this provides with another problem in the game, which I'll give you a hint to. Manage your inventory properly, because there are so many items you'll find in the world. You have to manage your items and sell any excessive ingredients that you do not need anymore, or keep 10 of them at the most in your inventory, because weight is a big issue in this game. Now the skills and abilities system is pretty straightforward in this game. However, I do need to give you one tip in that, is that you'll have to combine all the right colors of skills with the right color of mutagen. And it is as obvious as it sounds. Just combine the red skills with the red mutagen, the blue skills with the blue mutagen, and so on. For example, I'll show you now how one more green skill in combination with the other green skills available will increase the vitality bonus another 50%. Anyway, one final gameplay aspect that I want to talk about is Gwent. Gwent is quite an addictive card game, but actually I'm not gonna run into that a little bit too deep in this video, because I already explained most of the tactics and most of the mechanics in my other videos. Sex, drugs, and no, not rock and roll, but gore are usually highly present in games like this. So it doesn't go without saying that this game is for people of over 18 plus. Although I do understand that there's some young teenagers among you that are a little bit too horny and cannot pass this game up. But hey, who can blame you, right? Now, just like Dragon Age or Mass Effect, this game will let you romance a lot of the characters and main characters in this game, considering that you did not fuck up previous choices at least, and chose the right dialogues. And then, like a good dog, this game will throw you a nice bone to chew on. However, the wrong choices can actually wind up killing that character in the process in some of the most gory ways. Just like in the previous Witcher.
The diamond! Remove the diamond! I'll give you anything you want! No!
Now, if you want a game with good storytelling, good romance scenes, good character development, then this is your Game of Thrones equivalent in the game format. And this game provides on top of that so much more content in an open world RPG package. It's incredible, and if you buy this game officially, then you're rewarded with even more content, with 16 free DLC packages. Which developer does that these days? I don't know any. My name is Dreamon, the Belgian Waffle. I've been your host for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you guys next time.